Overwatch's rank system, along with most others, are fundamentally flawed. Does Elo Hell exist?
Yeah, Elo Hell exists.
You might be wondering who that is, but don't worry about that right now, we'll get to that in a bit. First, let me explain. You may think that rank systems are meant to, well, rank people based on skill, right? Well, that's the idea at least. The truth is that most rank systems have a fundamental flaw / design choice that is this. The game is built to keep you engaged rather than to reward skillful behavior. Also, for the rest of the video, I'll mostly be using Overwatch as an example with occasional references to Apex to divine points. Let's start with Overwatch's most common complaint with ranked, Elo Hell. Now, whether or not you believe in Elo Hell, it exists. Coming from someone who just escaped it, basically to sum up, in team games like Overwatch that are extremely reliant on one team being better as a whole than the other team, rather than individual skill, these usually will rank based off of a solely win-loss rating, meaning if you carry your team of donut eaters and still lose, you'll be punished just as hard as them. Now, that doesn't seem very fair, does it? That's the basis of Elo Hell, the idea that no matter how good you are, you can't climb with bad teams, which is a majority of the time correct. Currently, I am a diamond in Overwatch. How long did it take to climb? 100 hours of straight ranked. I started off in gold, went up to plat fairly fast, then fell back down to gold due to throwers. Climbed back up and wait, the same thing again. This is the experience most people in gold to plat get. You get put with a team that wins against the other team, then you get a bad team that has no chance against the enemy team. And before you go to the comments that say, Elo Hell doesn't exist, you'll climb out eventually if you're really good enough, that's the issue, the eventually in that sentence. In games such as Apex, you can climb from any rank to the rank you're supposed to be in fairly easily within half a season. Why is this? Well, that's because in Apex, stats are a little bit more important than, say, Overwatch. In Apex, you get an elimination, that means you were better than that person, usually. Whereas in Overwatch, you could spawn camp someone else over and over again and farm your elimination stat while your team loses in the background, meaning that if they rewarded you for doing good in game, they would inadvertently cause mass amounts of stat farmers that climbed high ranks without really doing anything. And this issue shows in Apex. In that game, if you've played it, how many times have you gotten in with a teammate that splits off, goes to the hottest spot on the map, only to get 5 eliminations, die, and sit there for the rest of the game being toxic? This sadly is the consequence of rewarding individual skill. In Overwatch, the game is completely based off of a win-loss system. If you win, you gain around 25%, and if you lose that much. But wait, why did I say around 25 and not just 25? That's where the hidden modifiers come in. These hidden modifiers can either give you more or less depending on if they're good or bad. One of the most annoying modifiers in this game is expected. That basically means that they put you up against a team that you were expected to win against. But wait, the game can just put you against a team that you were supposed to win against? That doesn't seem fair for the enemy team, does it? What if the enemy team has a tank that is extremely good but the rest of their team is throwing? Is it fair to say that tank deserves as much of a loss as the throwers? No, right? Well, the hidden modifiers help a little bit by lying to you and saying that you're getting consolation when you lose the same amount as a game without consolation. Sorry, a bit of resentment came out there. But seriously, why do these modifiers even exist, you might ask? And that's where the flaw comes in. Really quick, if you are enjoying the content so far, only 1% of my viewers are subscribed, so if you'd like, liking and subscribing would help a ton to get me to that 1,000 subscriber mark. I also have a Twitch where I go live almost every day. Hell, I might even be live right now, and a Discord where you can talk to your fellow fans. Those are both down in the description, and you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Now, these modifiers may have been made in good taste, but seriously, nothing makes me more upset than fighting a really close fight that felt amazing to win, only get slapped in the face with it expected and only gain 20%. But why are these here? Well, they're supposed to make the game more fair by giving a player expected games until they lose, then keeping them around there to see if that rank fits, which on paper sounds like it seems fine, right? Well, that's not how it turns out in game. Say you have a team of golds and you're in an expected win, but together you and your team just don't play that well together. Both DPS or projectile dives, you're a Reinhardt main, and your supports are Mercy and Lifeweaver. While individually you all might be higher than gold's skill level, together your team might end up scattered and turn the game into a loss. So even if you as a Rein are a high diamond player skill-wise, from that game's perspective, you're no better than a gold. Afterwards, say it gives you a game that's an expected loss, and sure enough you lose due to the game pairing you with worse teammates to see if you can manage to pull through even with them. To all my take mains out there, you'll know how hard it is to do good without a solid team supporting you. So with the game pairing you with a bad team on purpose, you were made to lose from the beginning, and while sure you can make the argument that if you can't carry a team of golds, are you really a diamond player? And if you ask this, I pose the argument that their tank can also be in the same situation. After all, it's an expected game, so they're only on the path to climb right now. Anyways, you lose the game, now you're down 2 games and you might have only been up 2 to begin with. You're now at a 50-50 win rate and the game sees this as you're where you're supposed to be. Now, you may make the claim that this example relies on a rare occurrence. However, if it's so rare, how do so many people experience this? Every expected game that I've had when I was in gold, the people on my team were at least plat level of skill, sometimes even diamond or higher. These were consistently two types of players that I came across in Gold to Plat. One, gold skill players that were deserving of that rank, and two, players that had no reason being in gold yet continued to stay there. Those people in example 2 are either people just getting back into ranked and climbing, or they're stuck in the infamous elo hell. The only way I managed to climb out of elo hell was by getting an extremely lucky run of games where me and my teams just clicked every game, and I went on a 10-game win streak. Now, how do you combat this, and how do you truly consistently climb? Well, it's tough, but I have a few recommendations that might help. Number 1, improve as much as possible to get that skill of a much higher than gold player. That way you can carry a team of golds consistently. Number 2, group up with people who you think you can climb with. People around your skill level or who you just think have potential, and climb with numbers. The reason this works so well is you have less teammates to worry about being bad, and you can carry a lot less people very easily. Number 3, this one's the most annoying response I get from Masters players. Play more. If you play 100 games and lose 40, you'll climb, but if you only play 10 and lose 4 in a row, you'll probably fall more than climb due to loss streaks. Number 4, VOD review. What this means is going into your match history, then replays, and watching your game from another perspective. It helps if you do this with another person who is a higher rank than you two. And last but not least, keep a level head and even be positive to your teammates. This is extremely underrated, but if you begin the match with a simple good luck have fun less than 3, you'll get flamed a whole lot less than if you said nothing at all. Along with that, if you emote with your teammates in the pregame, you can form quick bonds that in my case can make someone who may have never had the humility to swap from projectile to hit scan when we needed it, swap because they felt like you weren't being toxic and you knew what you were talking about. Whereas if your first message in the game is maybe not insert hero, you'll most likely be taken as rude even if you genuinely meant it in a nice way, even though that's a douchey way to say you needed a different hero. Sadly, even with all the advice in the world, if you don't play the game consistently enough to grind ranked, it probably will take you months, if not years, to climb out of that elo hell. And before you go to the comments saying, oh, I'm Grandmaster and I got out of gold within a few months of playing, the top 500 Rhine main, Glacier, was stuck in a gold plat loop for 8 years before they managed to climb out, and then within a few days made it from Diamond to Grandmaster. And while I couldn't get him on call today due to an emergency, I have Duck here who is another top 500 to attest to that. Hello. This is...
Hello, how are you? Yes.
I'm doing pretty good. This is one of the top 500 supports. All right,
yes,
so let's get straight into it. What is your all-time peak in support?
I peaked 374, I believe. That was just playing mainly Zen, Bab, Kiri. That sort of just flex support. Already.
How long have you been playing Overwatch?
I have been playing since the start of Overwatch 2, definitely.
Okay.
I started really picking it up around, I think, season 3, season 4. That's when I started playing a lot, and then by around season 7, I think I was up to where I am nowish.
Okay. All right. Which is, where are you at currently?
I am just based on the fact that I can't play as much. I'm just sort of cycling between
time restrictions,
high masters and low GM.
Okay. How long were you in lower ranks, like silver to platinum?
I initially placed, I think it was plat. Like my first time playing, I placed plat. I was probably in there for about maybe a season and a half. And within that season and a half or season, I really started, looking into. I started watching people play. I started watching high level of like the OWCS, which was still up at that point.
So basically what I'm doing right now, yeah, to get out of
yes, exactly. Yeah,
literally what I'm doing to get out of fight. Okay. But all right. Would you consider that elo hell? Was it hell for you to be there? Did it take an abnormal amount of time for you to get out? Did you feel like you should have been out at the time?
I definitely felt like I should have been out probably about halfway through that point. I was sort of cycling between plat 3 to plat 1, and I just really wanted to get to diamond at that point.
Yeah, just to finally to make that stretch.
Yes, exactly. I think it was definitely a big step, like mentally, over sort of mechanically. I think I had it mechanically. I just needed to really
needed to like start focusing on more things and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Now, how quickly did you climb from diamond to grandmaster once you got out of platinum?
Very, very quickly. I think within the next season I was up to like mid masters. I think once I got into diamond, everything just clicked. It was so much easier. I know for a lot of my friends who have gone pretty high, it's not, they're still stuck around the high mid diamond, but it just clicked for me, and I managed to get up to about like Masters 2, Masters 3 at the end of that season, and then I think the season after I was really playing a lot, and that's when I got to the top 500 point.
Okay.
It's literally, I think Elo Hell is really described, or definitely like meta ranks, you can describe it by how hard can you carry your team. Because if you can carry your team harder than the person on the other team, you're just going to win, right? Because there's always going to be, in the rating system, you're always going to be matched against someone. For example, even if you queue unrated, if you're, I don't know, Diamond 1, and the rest of the team is around like gold, right? It might be a wide match. You're going to be matched against someone with a similar skill rating on the other team. And I think in medal ranks, that's really hard, because the skill difference between a silver player and a plat player, even though they can queue in the same range, is probably comparable to the difference between maybe high level masters player and low level diamond player. Like that's a very large gap.
I completely agree on that. All right.
Sure.
What are your opinions on people saying Elo Hell doesn't exist?
I think people definitely experience all manner of games very differently. For example, I think people are either uneducated on the topic of it, or just simply haven't played enough to actually experience it. Because there will always be a point where you are in that point. Plat is definitely one of those points, I believe. It can definitely bog a lot of people down. I also, right now, I'm not playing as much as I'd like to be, but I can't get out of mid to low GM. I can't get up to champion, because I'd like to get there at some point.
I feel like that's the goal for most of grandmasters.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Last question. Do you think Elo Hell is worse for tanks than it is for other roles?
Ooh, that's actually very interesting. I think there's a lot of tanks where I think the difference between the lowest skill ceiling tanks and the highest skill ceiling tanks is bigger than any other character in the game, apart from maybe Widowmaker.
And Junker. And maybe Wing.
Yeah, characters like that, right? That just have an exorbitant, either horrible or really good. One-shot characters are normally like that. But for example, the difference between the maximum, like the best you could ever be on Orisa, to the best you could ever be on Winston or Doomfist or Ball, right? Is just so huge that I think tank has a very I think if you were to hard lock, like if you're a gold tank player, right, and you hard lock Orisa or Ram, and you play that up to the point where you're getting to high diamond. If you were then to try and switch into maybe like one of those other high skill ceiling characters, you would find immediately that you have both the potential to do so much more for the rest of your team, but also you could be doing absolutely nothing. I think that Elo Hell 4 tanks. Elo Hell, at least 4 tanks. I think it can be experienced in any role with high differences, but I think, yes, you definitely hit the point with, I think tanks do get it pretty bad.
Yeah, like with my experience, I climbed to Diamond yesterday in a streak of 10 games just playing Roadhog. I couldn't climb at all. I lost almost every game I played with Wrecking Ball, no matter how good I played, because it didn't matter what I did for the team. They didn't know how to play with a Wrecking Ball. So it was just like, unless I completely carried them by entirely wiping out the entire enemy team, I just couldn't play Wrecking Ball in those lower ranks.
If you don't do everything perfectly with the highest skill ceiling characters, I think dive characters are just really hard to play at low ranks. Yeah. There's a very high skill ceiling for it, and a very high skill floor as well. I think the skill floor for most of the tanks is very low.
Like Ramatra, you can play him and do fairly good off the bat.
Exactly. Basic mechanics.
If you don't know what you're doing, you're feeding and you're throwing the game.
Exactly. Okay. Ball, Doom, Winston, any character like that. I do think tank gets it pretty hard.
All right. On to the final and biggest issue with Overwatch's ranked system, MMR. You may have heard this referred to as your quote-unquote true rank, which is basically what it is. This is a ranking system similar to your visual rank, however it also takes into account your performance in quick play. Frogger recently made a very good video showing how this MMR system can be exploited by simply creating a new account, winning 20 quick play games, and then winning placements, you can be put in champion. This is a ridiculously stupid system, and it is a very large reason why people can be consistently stuck in low ranks and placements. Oh, you play quick play for fun and not to win? Now you're viewed as a bad player by the game. If you practice in quick play, those games count towards your MMR, which influences your ranked games and who you're paired with and put up against. I, while being new, got very good fairly soon after picking up the game. However, the quick play games I play are almost always with fans or for practice, meaning I lose a lot of them just because I don't try in them. This in turn played a big part in why I was in this elo hell. The second I started playing one quick play game before ranked, winning it, and then going into ranked, I started climbing extremely fast. Is this a coincidence? You tell me. Go out there, see if winning a quick play game before ranked really makes you do better in ranked than in losing the quick play. Then make a comment about your experience. With that though, special thank you to Duck for the interview. Thank you to Marbed and Araya for the tier 3 subs over on Twitch. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.